The scan tool lets us check in a very quick and intuitive way the spectral content in our network and the power level of each of the existing carriers. Every bar shown on screen represents one carrier and its power level. DBG channels are shown in purple color. Maximum and minimum frequencies are adjusted automatically according to the chosen channel plan. As in the spectrum analyzer mode, the upper area shows us buttons for tuning by channel, frequency and by DBG channel. The use of the span and reference level arrows is identical in this mode to the spectrum analyzer mode. We can demodulate both analog and digital channels from the scan mode. In the upper right area, we can see the main set of measurements for the tuned carrier, which will be different depending on whether the channel is analog or digital. From the scan mode, we can find the screen capture and Datalogger buttons in the lower left area of the screen. From the Datalogger window, we can name the Datalogger file and the location where the measurements are taken, set up a power level threshold under which carriers will not be taken into account when running the Datalogger, and finally we can choose which measurements we would like to take and store in the Datalogger file besides the power level: MER, carrier to noise, VR, pre and post VR, and video to audio carrier ratio. Measurements will be taken over active channels. Once the Datalogger is completed, you can transfer the corresponding file directly to a pendrive from the meter. Remember that it is possible to run a quick Datalogger by pressing the green central button called Test and Go from the Home menu. The DBG button shows us a quick view similar to the scan mode, but only including the DBG carriers. Finally, the TILT button allows us to set up the frequencies for the carriers that will be used to equalize the cable TV network. We can set up as many as 4 carriers for downstream and 4 for upstream. In the lower right area, we find a button that lets us switch between downstream and upstream carriers. In order to define their frequencies, we must press the frequency button and edit the desired value. We can see on screen the power level measured for each one of the carriers, the tilt slope value, and the power reference between the two most outturned carriers, first and fourth. It is important to remember, if we get into the scan mode from the fiber section, everything we explained so far is still valid. We just need to input the signal through the meter's fiber optic connector. We can demodulate both SCQAM single channel QAM and DOCSIS up to version 3.0 included channels from the scan mode.